I'm 86 years old, and it took me almost my entire life to understand what I should have protected. Not built, not earned. Protected. I didn't realize that difference until most of what mattered was already gone. At this age, people speak to you softly. They assume you're fragile. In some ways, they're right. Not in the body, that part has been breaking down for years, but in the heart. You reach a point where you stop. Not because you've grown wiser, but because you're too tired to keep pretending. There's no audience left to impress. No future version of yourself to bargain with. I'm telling this now because I don't have much time left and because silence doesn't help anyone anymore. Most days are quiet, not peaceful, just quiet. The house sounds different when you're the only one left in it. Floors creak louder. The clock feels heavier. Even the light coming through the window feels slower, like it's taking its time getting to you. I spend a lot of time sitting, thinking, remembering things I didn't realize were memories at the time. When I was young, really young, I thought life was about momentum, forward motion. You kept moving, kept doing, kept solving the next problem. That's what responsible people did. That's what I believed anyway. I grew up in a time where duty mattered. You didn't ask if something fulfilled you. You asked if it needed to be done. So I did things that needed to be done. I worked, I showed up, I kept my word, I paid the bills, I was reliable. And because of that, everyone thought I was doing well. I did too. In my 20s, I was restless, eager. I wanted to prove I was capable of more than where I came from. I took pride in being busy. Long hours felt like progress. Exhaustion felt like purpose. When I missed dinner, I told myself it was temporary. When I skipped a weekend, I told myself it was for something bigger. When someone needed me and I said later, I believed later was guaranteed. I wasn't careless. That's important to say. I wasn't cruel. I didn't abandon anyone outright. I just postponed things, conversations, visits, rest, attention. I postponed my life. In my 30s and 40s, routines hardened. Morning schedules, commutes, habits that felt neutral but weren't. I came home tired, not physically, mentally. I'd sit in a chair and let the day drain out of me, while the people around me slowly learned not to expect too much. I didn't notice it happening. That's the dangerous part. Loss rarely announces itself. It just waits until you're not paying attention. There were moments, small ones, a look that lingered too long, a question that didn't get asked again, an invitation that stopped coming. I thought everything was fine because nothing had exploded. But relationships don't collapse, they erode. I remember once, this still comes back to me clearly, I was supposed to attend something important. Not important in the grand sense, important to someone I loved. I was running late. There was a call that needed to be handled. I told myself I'd make it up later. I always believed there would be a chance to make things up. That chance never came. Not because of one moment, but because of hundreds like it. Time doesn't punish you all at once. It charges interest. I told myself I was being practical, that feelings could wait, that stability mattered more, that once things settled down, I'd be more present, kinder, slower. But things don't settle down on their own. They just change shape. People change shape too. Somewhere along the way, I stopped being someone others leaned on emotionally and became someone they worked around. I didn't notice because no one complained. They just adjusted. By the time I realized something was missing, I couldn't tell you exactly when it left. The turning point wasn't dramatic. No shouting, no confrontation. It was a hospital room, quiet, machines humming softly. Someone I had loved for decades lying still, thinner than I remembered, breathing shallowly. I sat there and tried to remember the last real conversation we'd had. Not about logistics, not about plans. A real one, I couldn't. That's when it hit me, not like a wave, more like a weight, a settling realization that this wasn't fixable, that apologies don't work when time runs out, that intentions don't count once the window closes. I held a hand that had held mine for years and realized how often I'd let it go. I told myself I'd do better after. People always say that after the crisis, after the recovery, after things return to normal. But there was no after. Grief doesn't feel like people describe it. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's just a permanent absence, a chair that stays empty, a voice that doesn't answer back, and then the days keep going. That's the cruel part. Life doesn't stop to let you catch up. It keeps moving, even when you've finally understood what you were supposed to be doing all along. Now, at 86, people ask me what I'm proud of. They expect stories about work, achievements, milestones. Those things feel distant, blurry, like they belong to someone else. What stays sharp are the moments I didn't protect, the evenings I gave away, the conversations I rushed, the people I assumed would always be there. I protected my schedule, my reputation, my sense of usefulness. I didn't protect my presence. No one tells you that presence is fragile, that it can be chipped away by reasonable excuses, that it requires defense, not just intention. You think love is enough? It isn't. Love without attention starves quietly. If I could speak to my younger self, I wouldn't tell him to quit his job or chase happiness or any of those big ideas people like to throw around. I'd tell him something smaller, something harder. I'd tell him to notice who waits for him, who adjusts, who forgives easily, because those are the people you're borrowing time from, and borrowed time always comes due. I can't fix what I missed. That's the truth of it. Some doors don't reopen. Some voices don't return. Some versions of yourself are gone for good. All I have now is awareness and memory, and the hope that saying this out loud might land somewhere useful. If you're listening to this and you're young, I won't tell you what to do. I don't have the authority for that. All I can tell you is what I learned too late. Protect the things that don't make noise when they leave. Protect the people who don't demand much. Protect the moments that feel ordinary. Those are the ones you'll look for when the house goes quiet. I don't have many years left. I know that. I feel it in my bones, in the way mornings arrive heavier than they used to. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of how much I almost missed while I was alive. If this meant something to you, sit with it for a while. You don't have to act. Just notice. That's where it starts. For me, it's where it ended.